I'm grateful to Vanessa and the Bryant family for the opportunity to speak today. I'm grateful to be here to honor Gigi and celebrate the gift that Kobe gave us all. What he accomplished as a basketball player, as a businessman and a storyteller, and as a father. In the game of basketball, in life, as a parent, Kobe left nothing in the tank. He left it all on the floor. Maybe it surprised people that Kobe and I were very close friends, but we were very close friends. Kobe was my dear friend. He was like a little brother. Everyone always wanted to talk about the comparisons between he and I. I just wanted to talk about Kobe. You know, all of us have brothers and sisters, little brothers, little sisters who, for whatever reason, always tend to get in your stuff, your closet, your shoes, everything. It was a nuisance, if I can say that word. But that nuisance turned into love over a period of time, just because the admiration that they had for you as big brothers or big sisters. The questions, the wanting to know every little detail about life that they were about to embark on. He used to call me, text me, 11:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about post-up moves, footwork, and sometimes the triangle. At first, it was an aggravation. But then it turned into a certain passion. This kid had passion like you would never know. And it's an amazing thing about passion. If you love something, if you have a strong passion for something, you would go to the extreme to try to understand or try to get it. Either ice cream, Cokes, hamburgers, whatever you have a love for. If you have to walk, you would go get it. If you have to beg someone, you would go get it. What Kobe Bryant was to me was the inspiration that someone truly cared about the way I played the game or the way that he wanted to play the game. He wanted to be the best basketball player that he could be. And as I got to know him, I wanted to be the best big brother that I could be. To do that, you had to put up with the aggravation, the late night calls, or the dumb questions. I took great pride as I got to know Kobe Bryant that he was just trying to be a better person, a better basketball player. We talked about business. We talked about family. We talked about everything. And he was just trying to be a better person. Now he's got me. I'll have to look at another crime meme for the next. I told my wife I wasn't going to do this because I didn't want to see that for the next 3 or 4 years.
Have it from Brennan. We got next. Wants to know your favorite part of Kobe Bryant's game.
Matt, my favorite part was his competitive nature. And obviously to put up those kind of numbers and have the career that he had, you had to be competitive. But and I've told this story before. I remember back in the mid-'90s when we both were young, and I was out in Los Angeles, and I was at UCLA men's gym. Went up there one night to get some shots up, and he was in there getting some shots up. And we went ahead and played one-on-one against each other, and it was like a Game 7. And the intensity of a one-on-one game in early July.
Wow.
And at the time, he might have been going into his second year or third year. And it was like, okay, I got to lace him on a little bit tighter. And obviously, he wasn't quite the player that he eventually became, but the competitive nature was there. And so when I think of that moment, there's no surprise that he became Kobe Bryant that we all know and loved.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for me, you know, along with that competitiveness was his ability to take that and put it into practice and put it into the fundamentals of becoming really great. And we see so many great athletes come along where they can run fast, they can jump high, and they're just incredible athletes that can do things. And that athleticism allows you to skip the basics. And Kobe went back and he continued to learn the basics. You got to remember, he came out of high school, so he didn't come in with all the great footwork that he ended up having.
Right.
So his ability to learn, his willingness to understand that there's some things that I need to work on and I can't skip steps is the most impressive thing about his game that I admire.
We're all kind of saying different versions of the same thing, but to me it's determination. Some of that manifested itself in footwork, shot making, because to me he's one of the great shot makers of all time, not just because he was a great scorer, but because he came up with different stuff season after season. And when you think of determination, playing through the injuries in April of 2013, it was his determination to get to the free throw line, despite the fact that he must have known at that point his season was certainly over. But that was important to him. I remember meeting him at the 2010 All-Star Game in Dallas and doing an interview with him in a situation similar to this where he came to the set. That was the season in which he had really messed up his index finger on his right hand. It was mangled. It looked like a lightning bolt. And he played through that. Remember, he started shooting left-handed as well for a while because it wasn't going to let that stop him from doing his thing. And that's just, it speaks to the work ethic and to the determination that made him as great as he was.
It really does, Matt. And I mean, there's so many attributes about him and things that you have to admire. And this is coming from some good basketball players in their own right. But just to watch his career, to watch his evolution, his growth, but really his respect for the game of basketball and the work that he put into it. You know, people see the greatness, you see the athleticism as Isaiah talked about, but the hard work, the commitment, you know, his workouts in the summer were legendary. And that's in part the reason for his success. But I mean, that year you're talking about with his finger, and you know, it didn't seem to bother him when I guarded him. You know, and I think of we played him in the Western Conference Finals, Game 6, and we're in Phoenix, and you know, we feel like if we win, we can go back to LA and possibly steal the game at the Staples Center. And I mean, he hit some incredible shots on me to seal that victory for them and moving on to the finals. And I mean, I don't know what I could have done better defensively, unless maybe just denying him the basketball. And he did all that with that finger that you're referring to. But it just spoke to his determination, his will, his desire to win at all costs, not succumb to injuries, whatever the case may be. And you know, you admired him. He frustrated you because he was so good, but he was simply one of the best to ever do it.
Had a single-mindedness you just don't find in really any walk of life.
Yeah, and you know, he is the closest thing that we've ever seen to Michael Jordan in our league, and that is high praise. And you know, when you talk about his will, his determination, his style of play, the way he played, the way he carried himself, there have been a lot of people who were compared to Jordan, but there's no one in our league that's been like Jordan. And you know, every time you watch Kobe play, you couldn't help but think of, oh, Michael Jordan did that, or that's a Michael Jordan move. And again, those two are the only two in our game that have ever come close to being that similar to each other and that great in our game.
And you will hear from Michael Jordan in just a little bit. MJ really opened up with an emotional tribute